Good evening and happy midnight and happy early Halloween and welcome to the week 10 edition of the Pets Analysis Show from yours truly, Jackson Johnson, and my partner in crime, Sports Talk with Austin himself, Austin Williams, as we bring you our takes on what's going on in week 10 of the 2024 college football season, the last week before the playoff rankings come out. How you doing tonight, good buddy?
Mhm. I'm doing pretty good for all things considered. And I want to say to all of our viewers out there, I apologize for it was on me tonight for running late. No technical difficulties. We just had a little something come up. Nothing that couldn't be fixed, but we're all good. We're here now, and I'm ready to talk some football. And no, Jackson, we're not going to talk about Alabama all night. Stop asking
That's
me.
fine.
Like goodness gracious.
That's what
Like
that's
he's
what the
been asking me
Alabama
since we
channel's
got on
for.
here. Yeah, all Jackson wants to talk about is Alabama. Alabama. Nobody cares about Alabama on their bye week. And Jason O is here and he says, "Go Yankees all day, every day." Congratulations to the Dodgers, though. Oh yes, congrats to the Dodgers. Me personally, I don't know much about baseball. Jackson be the one. He would enlighten you more about that than
Man,
I
well,
would.
I will say I'm glad the former Atlanta Brave Freddie Freeman is the World Series MVP because I mean it's well deserved on his part. I mean, I'm still a little bit pissy about the Braves not doing so hot this year, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? A former Atlanta Brave winning and Shohei Ohtani finally getting his first World Series title. I'll take it. I mean, I'm always gonna make sure to find something to be happy about.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. But you know something, Jackson? You know something that isn't happy about? Well, I guess you can be happy about it. But where are the Friday night games this week? Like no Big Ten. Where are they, Jackson? Did they just decide? Well, let's not schedule any this week. I
I don't
mean,
know, but I
come
know
on.
this. We could get some sleep for Friday night to get ready for Saturday for sure.
Yes. Well, before we do that, though, Jackson, we do need to keep an eye on San Diego State, Boise State, because there's a certain Ashton Genty that's on the Heisman hunt, and we need to be keeping track of that. See if he how many record breaking performances he keeps up, because him and Travis Hunter are locked in a heavy battle. But Jackson, I'll say this, keep it short and sweet. Does San Diego State have a chance?
I don't think so.
I know they kept it close with Washington State, but Washington State seems to be doing that with everybody here lately. I be
Oh,
perfectly honest with you, Jackson. Boise, they're in the driver's seat, I think, to be the G4 conference champion and the team to get the playoff spot. I think, and plus it's on the blue field. This is going to get ugly probably quick.
Mercer. Da 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 da. I think it's gonna be a 207 rushing yard game by Ashton Genty, and I think Boise's gonna win this one 35-17.
I'll go Boise State 38-17. And I think Ashton Genty gets some rest in the fourth quarter. Oh, yes. The
Hey,
big
that's
one,
how.
Jackson.
This is how you start off Saturday.
Yeah. And, Jackson, I know that's the cliche in the commercial, but it's kind of right. What better way to start a Saturday? Go ahead, introduce it, good buddy.
I
I don't
mean,
want to
the
steal your thunder. Go
Buckeyes.
for it.
I gotta tell you, the Buckeyes have had a wild week. I mean, you remember that targeting call that was called on Arlen Reese?
Yes. Very controversial.
Well, Buckeyes were like, you know what? We're gonna get it. We're gonna be fighting this call, and the Big Ten was like, oh, you know what? We don't want any more water bottles thrown at us, so we're overturning that. that call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a big game Saturday, Jackson. I know that's cliche, but is this the year Penn State finally puts to rest that they can't win the big one against Ohio State? Is this the year they finally put that to bed?
I mean, if they want to show it, this year be a good time. But I mean, all they really have to do is go 11-1. They're in the playoffs. That's the way I'm looking at it. You know, they don't necessarily need to win the Big Ten, but it would be not. It would be nice if they did. That would be pretty cool. Although I remember I was watching JD Piquel on On3 today earlier this morning, and he talked about a possibility of there being an unbeaten Oregon, Indiana, and Penn State fight, having a tiebreaker because none of the three play each other. Like, who would get in? Well, we won't know until that day comes, but we know they're all getting in the playoffs for sure. But the Nittany Lions, Drew Law's been hurting from last week against Wisconsin, and I haven't seen the injury update yet, or if there has been one today. But okay, well, he's been practicing ahead of the Ohio State matchup. That's good. That's a good sign. And I'm hoping he's available, but I mean, if he's not, I mean, that's okay. You know, they've got squared away. Well, at least I'm hoping they do. But if Drew Law does play, there's going to be a huge question. And I asked this with Patrick Murphy of Buttnuts 247. Are people going to look at him as like the Nets Kirk Cousins, the guy that wins the games that no one's really watching, but can't win the big one?
That's interesting. It seems like Jackson, the thing is, and this is just for Penn State in general, in my opinion, but they've done it since James Franklin's been there for most of his tenure. They beat the Purdues of the world, the Wisconsins, the Indianas. They beat everyone they should, but they can't beat Michigan and Ohio State on a consistent basis. And it's just like, good job. I mean, Jackson, it's like for Penn State, we all expect them to at least max out at least 9-10 wins every year, right? And it's like when they go 10-2, it's like you beat everybody you should have, but you lost the two biggest games of your season. And I kind of feel like, Jackson, it's one of them things where like if the Penn State loses this game, I have a feeling it's going to be another one of them years where it's going to be like, yeah, Penn State made the playoffs, but did they really? Because they didn't win the big game. And Jackson, as we know, that eats at James Franklin deep down inside, whether he wants to show it or not. Because he wants to beat Ohio State. And he wants to get those critics out of his ear saying, well, the only reason why you beat them in 2016 was because of Saquon Barkley. Like, he's tired of hearing that. This is his chance. It is true. I agree with you, Jax, but this is his chance right here. You say you're a top 5 team. You say that you're one of the best teams in the Big Ten. Well, guess what? Show us on Saturday. You beat Ohio State, you'll shut a lot of people up. And Jason O says Penn State fans are going to be disappointed. I didn't mean to phrase it like that. They'll be disappointed on how they got there.
Mm-hmm.
And meaning that they'll be like, we lost Ohio State again. It feels like an empty victory is what I'm trying to. Sometimes you can make the playoffs, but it's an empty victory. Like Georgia, when they made the playoffs, it was an empty victory because guess what? They were like, we had a chance to beat Alabama. We just couldn't do it. But then they got a chance to do it again in the playoffs. One of them rare scenarios. But as for this game, Jackson, I think this is all going to hinge on the defense for Penn State. If Penn State can force Will Howard into some turnovers, they can definitely win this ball game, I think. But the fact that they haven't beaten them in so long, I just can't do it, Jackson. I can't bring myself to pick Penn State to win this game. I'm going Ohio State. I'm going Ohio State 27-19. Buckeyes, 27-19.
I'm thinking more like Ohio State 20-17.
You got a little lower scoring than I do.
Although I will be pulling for the Nittany Lions.
I will be too, Jackson. I hope they do win, but something tells me they're going to blow it again.
And to be
And then we got
fair
another.
about Ryan Day, you mentioned a few weeks ago in our humongous debate about Brian Kelly, you mentioned about Ryan Day, how no one really talked about his record against top 5 teams. Matter of fact, his record is 2-6 against top 5 teams.
It's not very good.
No.
It's not very good.
And we heard some
So
of the
this could spell
Buckeyes.
trouble.
Yeah, they were not happy about last week's victory against Nebraska. It's a rare thing that they had a
No.
one-score game against them, but they did.
Well, Jackson, and this next game here, is Miami going to is Duke going to play spoiler? Is Miami going to keep it close again and give Duke hope, or is Cam Moore going to outright prove that Miami's the best team in the ACC?
Man, that's going to be a fun one. And another one, your boy Manny Diaz is making a return to Hard Rock Stadium for the first time since he got fired. He got thrown away for Mario Cristobal. Like that was a wild story looking back at it, where when he was getting that call when Miami was like, "Hey, Mario Cristobal, would you like to be the Nets head coach? Are you thinking about leaving Oregon? No. Well, would you like to be the Nets head coach? Sure. Hey, Manny, we got to talk. You're fired."
Now that I think about it, Jackson, this has got a nice storyline to it. Manny Diaz's, like you said, first return to Miami, to Hard Rock Stadium, where he got left out, left out to dry. But here he is again, Jackson, bringing a 6-2 Duke team into town. Still with they got slight hopes for an ACC title appearance. And the thing about this game, too, is, Jackson, you've mentioned it. You really like what Miami's bringing out.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were your preseason team to make it to the conference title, correct? Them in Florida State?
Yeah, I mean, I was dead wrong on Miami being overrated, which for once I was wrong. I was happy to be wrong about, but I wasn't too happy about being wrong about Florida State, but that's neither here nor there, which we will get to Florida State, North Carolina later on.
Oh,
This is going to be a
gosh.
good one. This is going to be a great matchup. Although
Yeah.
I don't see Miami winning by 20. That's just not happening. That looks more like a
That's
10-point win.
Yeah, Jackson, to your point, the thing with Miami is they almost lost to Virginia Tech. It took it took an interesting, controversial call to win that game. College Game Day was in town for that. The emotions were high. Cal played one of their best football games we've seen them play all year, except for last week against Oregon State. And then my boys at Louisville gave them everything they had. It just seems like Miami keeps playing with fire, as our parents used to say. You keep playing with fire, you're going to get burnt. And I feel like Miami keeps doing that. They keep sticking their hand in there, like, "Woo, we're not getting burnt just yet." And to be honest with you, Jackson, I'm with you. I don't think this is going to be a blowout by any stretch, because Miami, they really haven't blown anybody out all year except for Florida State, which everyone's blowing Florida State out unless you're Cal, which we can go a whole nother hour on that. But and Jason O says Miami's epic letdown is coming. Jackson, as much as I would like it to be this Saturday, I don't think it's going to be. I think Cam Ward's going to pull out some more magic.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be it's gonna be a Miami.
I was going to say, you pick first.
Yeah, it's gonna be a Miami 35-24 victory.
I'll go Miami 34-24. I think Duke will get some confidence, but then Cam Ward will snatch it away late. Ooh, upset
Ole Miss,
in SEC
Arkansas.
country.
Ole Miss is always having a hard time in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I mean, the only times that they have won in the 21st century in Fayetteville was in 2018 and in 2012, 2008, and Houston Nuts returned to Fayetteville, Arkansas on October 25th, and in the year of 2000. So it's usually pretty hard for Ole Miss to win it in Razorback Stadium or in the state of Arkansas as a whole anytime they play Arkansas. You know what's weird about this game?
What's that?
They're not in the same division anymore. It feels so weird. Like,
Yeah, we're all division list.
yeah, it's so weird. But Ole Miss,
I will say,
this looks like the perfect track game because next week they got to play Georgia. That's going to be a rough one, a rough ride.
See, and here's the thing, Jackson. For Ole Miss, they're like in Alabama's boat. They probably won't make the SEC title game. More than likely not, unless you never know. Miracles can happen. But Ole Miss is still playing for a playoff spot, I think. I could be wrong. We'll see next week what the committee thinks. We could be way off, and they could be like, Ole Miss, you've been eliminated ever since you lost your game to Kentucky. I don't know. But like you said, Jackson, Fayetteville seems to be a house of horrors for this Ole Miss team. Like, they seem to struggle against Arkansas, especially in Fayetteville. And Jackson Dart and company, they realize their season's on the line. This is it. They can't leave nothing in the playbook. Because I know, Jackson, like you said, a lot of teams are going to save their best stuff for Georgia. The problem is when you're facing a team like Arkansas and it's potential elimination time, there's gonna vanilla playbook play calling, from Lane Kiffin and company. I'm sorry, but that's you just got to throw everything out the window now. Whatever your best stuff is, you got to start using it now. You can't be saving it up anymore. And I think Jackson, you would even agree with that.
Oh yeah.
And Arkansas, could we see them pull off another top 15 upset? Like
top
Jackson
20.
will. Top 20? Well, because Tennessee's in the top 15, right?
Yes. Tennessee is right there. Arkansas, Ole Miss is 19th in the nation. And
so 20th.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So here's the thing, Jackson.
I feel like that Tennessee upset saved the job of Sam Pittman.
I was about ready to ask you that. I was like, does he need to win this game to secure his job, or did he do enough with Tennessee?
I think he should keep winning. It doesn't really hurt to keep winning.
I got you. Arkansas should make a bowl, right? Their schedule is manageable, right? From after Ole Miss.
Yeah, after Ole Miss, they have Texas come to their backyard. Then they got Louisiana Tech the week before rivalry week, and they got to go to Missouri.
Oh, yeah, they should make a bowl. They could go 7-5. I think, Jackson, I feel like he should be safe, but it's SEC country, and you know better than anybody, Jackson, nobody's ever safe.
Oh, they fire you for slipping on a banana peel. That's how it works down south.
That's why I said a 7-5, he may have to win his bowl game. But to this game, though, I'll let you pick first again, Jackson. Who you got winning? Do you smell another upset?
I feel like Arkansas could upset the Ole Miss Rebels. I think Taylor Green is going to get the job done for Arkansas, and it's going to be a tenacious 28-24 upset victory in Fayetteville as they clinch bowl eligibility. I will say though, I'm looking forward to Arkansas Texas 2 weeks from now. Do you know why?
Because it's a return of a rivalry game.
That and another reason. It will be the 55th
Uh,
anniversary of the game of the century from 1969, where President Richard Nixon declared the winner of the game to be the best in all of college football. And Penn State that day was not happy, particularly Joe Paterno, which I mean, I can tell a little bit of that story later on. I'm not going to keep everybody up till 3 a.m. telling it, so no worries there.
so Jackson, you went upset. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. I'm going to go Ole Miss. I think, even though, like you said, it's been a house of horrors, I think it'll be a really, really close game, close to the end. I'll go 31-28 Rebels on the road. Jackson Dart has some magic at the end.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And then we got the Commanders, and we got one of the Commanders and Chiefs rivalry between the Army Black Knights and the Air Force Falcons. And this is going to be a wild one. Can Army get a top-notch victory against Air Force and get closer to that Commanders and Chiefs trophy for this year?
Yeah, Air Force is 1-6. They're not looking too hot, Jackson. And
No.
our Army and Bryson Daly, they're rolling. I'm going to go Army 34-10.
I think Army is going to win 27-7 against Air Force.
Ooh, a game, Jackson, that we didn't think would be a good one, but it's sneaky one now.
Mm-hmm. Minnesota and Illinois. Yikes.
You know, honestly, Jackson, if you had told me Minnesota, Illinois would have been a sneaky good Big Ten game, I would have said, get out of here. Like, this is going to be for the bottom of the Big Ten. Lo and behold, Minnesota's 5-3, Illinois 6-2. Both teams are starting to play good football. Jackson, I'm going to tune in and watch some of this on Saturday. I'm going to see what's up.
Oh, yeah. Especially for our good buddies, Dave Valensky in the chat, and our friend Sonny Berman from Locked On Illini, the Big Ten Show, and Illini Cast and Bears on Tap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm curious, Jackson, to see how Illinois responds. Coming off that big blowout loss to Oregon, how are they going to respond at home? And PJ Fleck, Jackson, this could be the game that, you know, we keep saying every week, is he going to continue rolling the boat? Is he not? Well, Jackson, this game right here could be a lot for Minnesota's season. You know, forget about PJ Fleck and his boat rowing at this point. This is just momentum building towards 2025. I mean, if they're able to beat a big-time rival in Illinois on the road, and Illinois is still ranked, and it'd be a ranked win, and that would really build some momentum. Well, Minnesota.
And Dave, you can comment on this if you want, but in my view, the USC upset on the Big Ten Network, that was a huge gain of momentum for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. That it was humongously huge. Brett Bielema has not lost to the Gophers. No, he is not.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay.
Well, I mean, he did coach at Wisconsin, and you know, Wisconsin had that huge winning streak, and yeah, Illinois done all right against Minnesota.
Here's the thing, Jackson. I remember when we came and talked about Minnesota, and we talked about they weren't looking too hot after that North Carolina game, and we began to throw out all the questions, right? They're 5-3. With this win, they're going bowling. and have a chance to possibly finish the season 9-3, get a good bowl, get one of the better ones. But for Illinois, even though I don't think they'll make the playoffs, I think
No.
Illinois, the only way I think they would have made the playoffs is they would have won the Big Ten, I think.
Oh,
But
yeah. If they were a blue blood, they would be in at 10-2, no questions asked.
yes, no question to ask. I think this is a big-time rivalry game, but like Dave said, Brent Bielema hasn't lost to Minnesota yet, and it's at home in Champaign. I'm sorry, but I got to go with history. It's not going to happen. I'm going to go Illinois in a gutsy 17-14 victory.
And Dave says last year we lost on a bad play with 40 seconds to go. Yup. Yeah. Yeah, I think Illinois is going to win this one. It's going to be like a 21-17 victory. Although Minnesota is likely going to have a shot at clinching bowl eligibility again with their game against Rutgers next Saturday. And I don't really think that I don't really think that Minnesota will be undoing the momentum they created, but we'll wait and see. Yeah, because like earlier this year, after the loss to North Carolina, all we heard was PJ Fleck's hot seat. He's going to get fired. He's going to get canned. You know, scratch that. I know I said that the momentum started with that victory over USC, but thinking maybe it started in the fourth quarter against Michigan, where they were coming back against them on big noon kickoff.
Yeah, and I think that too, Jackson. We also found out Michigan's not a very disciplined team either, which we'll get to them later. But like you said, and Dave Linsky says this is not a big time rival. Illinois does not really think about Minnesota. Minnesota does not think about Illinois. Okay, I apologize. I thought they intertwined somehow. Minnesota, Illinois, lakes, and everything. My apologies.
Someone is gonna have a very sloppy day on Big Ten Network. That's gonna be Northwestern Purdue. I mean, yeah, that's gonna be
gosh.
That's Northwestern 17-14.
I'll go Purdue at home at Ross-Ade 23-20.
I mean,
I'll flip with you, Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, they both suck. Dave Valensky says the Gophers are due 27-21. That'd be pretty cool. They can clinch bowl eligibility against Illinois. Like, you know, go from 2-3, 6-3. I mean, shoot, what if they go even further, like say beat Rutgers and upset Penn State and Wisconsin? That would be awesome.
Oh boy. Stanford at NC State. That's gonna be an NC State win.
I still can't believe that's a conference game. I mean, North Carolina State. I mean, they just need to put the fire extinguisher out on 2024. I mean, that's just been a disaster. I mean, Grayson McCall getting hurt, and man, and you know he had to medically retire due to the injuries. Like, oh man.
Who are you going with, Jackson? In Stanford and NC State.
28-20.
I'll go NC State 34-17. I think Smothers Hollywood might have a big day.
There we go. Dave Valensky says it's all about Iowa and Wisconsin. Those are arch rivals. Agreed. Those are the top rivals for Minnesota.
This next game, Jackson, could be fun.
Ooh. Can we see Kyle McCord get the job done in Syracuse?
Virginia Tech at Syracuse, Jackson. If this was in Hokie Land in the Enter the Sandman for Virginia Tech Stadium, yeah, I would be like Virginia Tech all the way, no questions asked. But this is in Syracuse. The Qs are finally back home. They were embarrassed last Thursday night against Pitt. I think they're angry, Jackson. And I think the Dome is haunted. I mean, we all remember the great upset in 2017 against Clemson, right? I mean, so the Dome is known to be hollow for upsets.
Good
Now,
grief.
I don't think this would be an upset, but I think they're angry, Jackson. They're ticked off, and Virginia Tech's going back on the road. And I think Syracuse at home, they're a different team. Give me the Qs 28-24.
I think that Syracuse will lose to Virginia Tech as Virginia Tech wins 31-28.
That's fair.
Well, we got a good one on SEC Network. Has the momentum against Alabama just shifted away for Vanderbilt? Did Vandy let the Alabama win go to their heads? Is Auburn gaining momentum after the Kentucky victory? What's going on in Auburn, Alabama for the Auburn Tigers?
I'll say this, Jackson. Vanderbilt is no longer the laughing stock of the SEC anymore. They are a team to be taken serious because they almost beat Texas last week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think about that.
We
They beat
warned our
Bama and
buddy
almost beat Texas.
Jeffrey that it could happen. Where it was, remember last week? He's like, "That's not gonna happen." And I was like, "I don't underestimate Vanderbilt."
Jackson, Vanderbilt's a team that's earning credibility by the minute. And then you go on the other side of the goalpost, Auburn. They can't seem to hold a lead no matter what. And then they
No.
beat Kentucky, and now they're parading around saying, "We beat Kentucky, we beat Kentucky." And Jackson, I'm going to steal a line from you. You didn't beat 2018 Kentucky. So calm down. Like, seriously, Auburn, if that's what you're getting excited about, beating Kentucky, that shows where you are as a program.
That's basically being in hell for Auburn. They're in hell.
But the thing about it too is, Jackson, you brought this up, I believe, a couple weeks ago. We'll know if Vandy's really back or not after Diego Pavia leaves. If he was what's driving all this, or if Vandy's actually back, if Clark Lee's got him going again.
Yeah. And I really don't like all that hot seat talk about Hugh Freeze because first of all, it's his second year, and basically putting a coach on the hot seat in his second year, unless some off-field stuff's going really bad, to me, is basically like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. There's just things you don't do.
Mm-hmm. Yes, agree. Now, Jackson, if this game was at Vandy Stadium, I would pick Vandy. But the fact that it's in Jordan Hare, and Clint Moses is in the building. What's up, Clint? Sorry about your Beavers last week. The Beavers dam got broke. The Cal hype train came through. The Cal has hype train came through.
Oh,
But But Jackson, the fact that this is a Jordan Hare, I'm gonna pick Auburn. Something tells me they're gonna play up to Vanderbilt. I never thought I'd say that, but I'm gonna take Auburn to win 31-21.
Oh. I'll just tell you this: Auburn sucks. But
So does that mean you're going with Vandy?
Nah, in all seriousness, that was just for giggles. But in all seriousness, though, I kind of feel like Vandy is down a little bit, and I feel like Auburn is gaining some momentum from that Kentucky victory. And I'm gonna go ahead and say 21-17 against Vanderbilt.
Auburn, don't let us down, please. If we have to come back here Saturday night and talk about y'all losing, we're gonna give y'all an earful.
I mean, they
Oh
win, that's cool.
gosh.
I look at it as a win-win. I mean, they win, that's cool. You know, if they lose, that's cool too, because we talk about them on the final whistle. So
Goodness gracious. We're putting our faith in Auburn Jackson.
personally, I
We
don't
could be
care
in
if they win or
trouble.
lose. I say the hell with
But
2024 for Auburn. Focus on 2025. Like focus on what momentum you can gain for 2024. Use that on 2025. So we got a huge one, the big house
does
between the Oregon Ducks and the Michigan Wolverines. Number one is
Jackson,
in the big house.
let me ask you this, Jackson. I'll get you a softball. Does Michigan have a chance in snowball? Does Michigan have a chance at all to win this game?
It's a possibility.
Because Jackson, I'll be honest with you, I've consumed a lot of media. I've watched guys like Josh Pate. I've watched ESPN. I've watched the Voice of College Football. A lot of people are thinking Oregon's going to steamroll this game.
Ooh.
What do you think, Jack? What do you think about that, Jackson? Do you think Michigan's that bad?
Nah, I feel like it's gonna be close in the first half, but Oregon's gonna come through in a.
Hold on, good buddy. Hold on. So, do we know the quarterback situation? Is Davis Warren officially the starter now? Or are they flipping back and forth still?
Oh, they're kind of juggling. They are juggling.
So there's been no quarterback name yet of who's going to start.
No, but if I had to take a guess, it's gonna be Davis Warren.
Okay. Well, because here's the thing, Jackson. If Davis Warren is the starter, it gives me a little hope Michigan can hang around. But if Alex Orji starts, this is going to be over before the first quarter ends, in my opinion. Jackson, does the number one curse get Oregon on Saturday? They've been number one for 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to happen?
I'm gonna say, I think it's gonna be a
And
close
here's
first.
well, not to cut you off. I apologize, Jackson, but what do you think about the Sharon Moore hot seat talk? Like, what do you think about
I
all that,
think
Jackson?
honestly, it's the first year, and I really think some people are really just throwing the baby out with the bathwater. You can tell, like some of the fans are like, I understand they're frustrated. They should be. What's up, Hamas Hero? How you doing tonight, man? Thank you for tuning in to
What's
tonight's
up?
edition of Pitts Analysis, man.
You'll be happy. We picked Ohio State, me and Jackson. We were smart. But go ahead, good buddy.
But yeah, Michigan, I really think all this talk about, oh, well, Sharon Moore should be on the hot seat. He should be fired. He should be thrown. It's like, he just got here. Is there like
Like, give
bad
him a
stuff off the
chance.
field or something? Like, good God.
Well, and I think a lot of it too is Jackson. And I'll be honest with you. Like, I like Michigan's defense. They're very good. And Dylan Gabriel's been known to throw picks, right?
Mhm.
But the way Oregon's offense, they're humming. Tej Johnson and those guys. Like you said, Jackson, Oregon might be the best team in all of college football. Like, and I know Ducks fans don't want to hear that because they're like, no, don't jinx us. Keep doubting us, please. But it's true. They're a well-oiled machine. The only team, Jackson, I think that stands a great chance against them, I think maybe Texas or Ohio State. I think those are probably unanimously the three best. And even then, I think I would still take Texas and Ohio State over Oregon, but they haven't been playing like right now. Oregon's number one for a reason. They've been playing the best. I mean, like I'm trying to give Michigan hope, but I'm just talking myself into a dominant Oregon victory at this point. Jackson, is there any silver lining for Michigan other than maybe their defense?
That offense needs fixing, and Michigan's definitely gonna have to make sure that 2025 looks good, especially the recruiting class. Which I mean, the recruiting class looking very, very awesome. But I think Oregon's gonna win 31-14.
I'll go 42-10, Oregon.
Jay Snow says they shouldn't have hired him. They are complaining that he's inexperienced and making mistakes, but they knew he was a first time head coach. Michigan is in rebuilding mode. They should let more build. Agreed.
Yeah, too many teams get impatient. But
I
Jackson, we're both going. Go ahead.
I used to have like a bad attitude about like blue bloods hiring first time coaches or head coaches or or power four teams doing that in general. But then I'm like, you know what? How else do you gain experience?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jackson, we're both going pretty big here on the spread. And
Because
Dave
it's like,
Walensky says 52. Go ahead.
yeah, because like, I always hear people going about, well, you want to bring on somebody more experienced. You want to bring on this, and I understand that argument. But you don't want to bring on that person. They don't have experience. Well, okay, well, how'd you gain experience? Well, in my day, we had this. Well, in my day, we had that. Well, how how old were you when you first hired? Well, it was different. How old were you? Oh, well, I was 20. Like, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. And Dave Walensky says 52-24 Oregon. Yeah, we're thinking Ducks big. But to this question real fast. I'm with you, Jackson. And Clint Moses says give him a 2.5 year leash. I agree. Like,
Yeah.
once they get a good quarterback in out of the portal, then we'll really judge him. Jackson, I think he got a little too cocky about the quarterback situation and everything else, thinking Harbaugh left it in a really, really good spot. Like, like this isn't the championship team that you were on last year, Jerome. Like
No.
Harbaugh took a lot of those pieces with him.
And I think if there are more years like this, like next year, then okay, then I can understand getting the torches out. But we know we're gonna see the world's largest outdoor cocktail party on ABC, and that's gonna be a wild one right there.
So to break y'all in on this news, there's breaking news that occurred with this. So starting in 2026 and 2027, these games will be played in Atlanta and Tampa because
Yeah.
Everbank Stadium is being innovated for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They'll resume play back in Everbank in 2028. Jackson, how do you think that affects the future of this series going forward and other future series like this?
Well, honestly, I think the series will be fine. Honestly, and when it gets to 2026, it'll be the first time since 1995 that it's not played in Jacksonville. What 1994 and 1995, and the last time prior to 1994 that wasn't played in Jacksonville was in 1932 in Gainesville. So that was in the Great Depression era. So I don't think it's really gonna change anything for the Georgia Florida rivalry.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be fine, but I
uh
do
huh.
kind of like the idea of it being played in Georgia.
Yeah, and then the fact that they're going to Tampa as well for making it fair, like not making this like seem like they're screwing Florida. But thing too is Jackson. When did they start playing in Jacksonville? What year was that?
1933.
So they've been playing there for centuries then.
Decades.
Decades, I call it centuries for whatever reason, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, it's all
And
good, man.
I gotta say this, good buddy. Could this be the game that saves Billy Napier's job if he hasn't saved it already?
If he can pull off an upset, if he can lead Florida to an upset, he's really saving his butt. But what he really has to do is make sure Florida goes to bowl eligibility, and he's really good to go.
And Dave Valencia says, is Jacksonville halfway for both schools? Is that halfway, Jackson?
Yeah.
Let's see. Georgia, Florida. It's probably closer for Florida than it is Georgia, but.
Mm-hmm.
And Clint Moses says regular season doesn't mean jack. Heck, conference championship games don't mean jack either. Oh, wow. He's coming in here spitting today. Goodness gracious, Clint.
I mean, if you're the SEC
your
or
cheer
Big
goes
Ten,
to?
yeah. If you're the Big Ten SEC conference title games don't matter. All that really matters is, are you going to be like who wins it and who's basically in the top two? Matters if you're in the ACC or Big 12.
See, here's the thing too, Jackson, about this game before we make our pick. Georgia has shown that they can be beat. Mm-hmm. Like they almost lost to Kentucky, right? And then they had that awful game against Alabama. But Florida, Jackson, whether we like it or not, almost knocked off Tennessee and Knoxville. They put 48 up on the Cats. Like Florida's showing a pulse. Like they're showing like they want to be there for Billy Napier. They're showing like, hey, like we want you to stay, Billy. We're not trying to get you fired. But Georgia, on the other hand, they're coming off a big win against Texas, a really big win. It was the number one team in the country when they beat them. Will Kirby Smart have a hangover at all, Jackson? Or, well, I answer my own question because he's from the Nick Saban tree. He won't let that happen. Never mind. Jackson, as Nick Saban says, you can't let the rat poison get to you.
No. I feel like it's going to be.
I really want to pick Florida.
I think it's going to be another Georgia win.
Jacksonville isn't far for the GA border. It's easily accessible for both fans. I got you. Okay. I really want to pick Florida, Jackson, because what they showed me against Tennessee, how they almost beat Tennessee, and the fact that Georgia's already had a game where they almost lost to Kentucky if it wasn't for incompetent coaching. But something tells me Georgia's going to find a way to win this game again. I'll go 31-15 Georgia.
There we go.
Who are you picking?
Gonna go with Georgia, and it's gonna be a 38-17 victory over Florida.
Jackson, is Texas Tech gonna ruin your dream?
God,
is Jerry Maguire gonna?
Joey.
Is Jerry Maguire gonna? Joey, I keep wanting to call him Jerry. My bad. My bad.
He hasn't earned the right to be called Jerry. He's too overrated to be called that.
Jackson, you know something? We were worried about UCF, right? Spoiling your dreams.
Ugh.
Texas Tech. They're a perfect team to do it too.
I wouldn't say that.
Come on, Jackson. Are you not a little nervous for this game? Knowing Texas Tech is history?
They're weird like that. I know. They're weird.
Jackson, you're gonna be sweating this game out. Like I can already feel it. Like you're just like, please, like let me have something nice. Come on. And Dave Linsky says 34-17 Iowa State.
There you go.
You know what, Jackson? here's the thing. Texas Tech's coming off that loss where Hammond fumbled at the end. They could have won it with a field goal over TCU. And you know something, Jackson? And it's one of them games where it's like, it's a heartbreaker, but you learn from it. And Iowa State's coming off a bye where they almost lost to UCF the previous week before the bye week. And they've been playing with fire too. But go ahead, good buddy. I know you got some few things to say about this.
I think Iowa State can get the job done with a 35-17 victory.
Oh, you just went right to the pick. You didn't have nothing to say. Got nothing to say about this, Jackson? Like, nothing to hype them up? I thought hype them up, Jackson. Talk your talk with Iowa State.
I mean, Rocco Bet, we've seen his magic. We've seen a lot of the magic that this team has done. I mean, they can really get the job done.
So, Clint Moses says 65-40 Iowa State. Goodness, is this going to be a basketball game?
Well, it is the Big 12 we're talking here.
Yeah. Dave Linsky says 34-17 Iowa State. The Big 12 was fun to watch while it lasted. Where's the Big 12 going? Jackson, what happened to the Big 12 that we don't know about yet?
I don't think anything's going to happen to it. I mean, it's not happening, at least not yet. But if Iowa State goes 8-0 with this victory, it'll be the first time in school history. That's something to remember.
You know what, Jackson? I feel like I'm the only one backing them. But give me upset special of the week. Give me Texas Tech to ruin your hopes.
Ugh.
Give me Joey McGuire to spoil Iowa State's season. 34-31. Texas Tech.
Ew.
I got a gut feeling. I got a good gut feeling about this one.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. But we'll wait and see.
Okay, good buddy. Jackson, when we come back to this Saturday, if Texas Tech wins, I'm going to let you have it.
That's fine. That's fine.
All right. Who put this on the Peacock? I need to speak to some supervisors. Why are you doing this to us?
What the hell am I paying for exactly? Like, what am I paying the Peacock app for? Like, good God. Like, shouldn't they put, like, Northwest? Oh, no, wait a minute. I can watch this game. No problem. I can just watch it on my iPad, and I can just watch Florida Georgia on my phone and watch Oregon Michigan on TV. No problem.
Indiana at Michigan State. So, Jackson, what's the status of Curtis Ward?
Peacock pimping out.
Yeah, they're like, you know what, Indiana fans?
I bet you they got a pimp name slip back behind all this.
Dave Malinsky says Northwestern Purdue should be on the Peacock, not this game. That's what Jackson's been saying. Mm-hmm. But the Peacock's like, oh no, we don't want to give you the top of the line games, but we want to give you games that you'll give us your money. Like you put Northwestern Purdue on there, Jackson, people are going to be like, no. No, thank you. So what's the status, though, Jackson, as we sit at this moment of Curtis Ward? Is he expected to play, or what's the update, good buddy?
Well, from what I saw, he's looking like he could be ready to go. He's on track to return this Saturday from what it's being revealed. And Sid Nettie is optimistic about it, so that looks pretty huge to me.
Okay, well, because this is what this game all depends on. If Curtis Ward plays, I think Indiana will have a great shot to win this game. They'll have a great shot, obviously. But if he doesn't play, it could get ugly. And the thing about this too, Jackson, is this is for the old brass platoon.
Yep.
And Clint Moses says, "Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy, Jackson? Who's your daddy?" And Dave Malinsky says 31 30, Michigan State, huge upset. Okay, Michigan State's his upset special. I could see it in all seriousness. I could see it because this isn't East Lansing. And Jonathan Smith has been known to pull up some upsets. Michigan State wins the old brass spittoon. Jackson, what do you think? Are we on another upset special, or Indiana just too good? No look ahead to
Indiana's too
Michigan.
good. I think it's gonna be a 28-17 victory over Michigan State.
Now, Jackson, just to preference this, to get ahead of the curve. Before you go ahead, is this with both quarterbacks, no matter who plays, or is this Curtis Rourke plays?
This is for if Curtis Rourke plays and if he doesn't play.
Okay, so you're confident no matter what. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If Taven Jackson plays, I'm gonna pick Indiana 24-21. But if Curtis Rourke plays, I'm gonna pick Indiana 35-17.
Yep.
Well, Jackson, I mean, Kansas State at Houston. Anybody going to take an interest in that other than our Houston people and Kansas State people?
Crap. That means it could be an upset special if no one's really taking an interest in that game. God dog.
Yeah, Willie Fritz pulled off one last week against Utah. Could he stun the Wildcats? I mean, Jackson, Chris Kleiman, he has lost some games that he shouldn't have in his career. Is this going to happen? Is this the game he knows he should win and that he's going to lose?
I mean, didn't they already lose that game that they shouldn't have against BYU?
But look at what BYU is now, Jackson. They're one of the better teams in the Big 12.
True. That's true.
So really, they lost to a good team. If you think about it, they haven't lost that one game yet. This could be it right here. And they almost lost to Kansas, but Kansas can't have nothing nice. Sorry, good buddy.
Ugh, what Kansas ever do to deserve the bad luck?
Jackson, this game is on the road. I'm going to take Kansas State, but it's going to be a close victory again. 26-17.
Kansas State will win 28-21 against Houston.
Oh gosh, UCLA, Nebraska. Oh Lord.
Please don't tell
Jackson,
me Nebraska's going to lose this one and we're going to see their November spiral on down again.
Jackson, what is it with Nebraska and are they not allowed to go to a bowl game anymore?
It's like Charlie Brown at the pitcher's mound.
Like, Jackson, did they do something so awful that we don't know about that the gods are punishing them, saying you could get the 5 wins, but no more?
Ooh. It's like Joe Pesci get beat up in casino and get buried alive in a cornfield in Iowa. Like, good grief.
Like, seriously. Like, they did this to us last year. Like, why do I get a feeling UCLA is going to win this game? Why? Like, why do I get a feeling they're going to steal another win when we least expect it?
Please don't beat Nebraska. Please don't beat Nebraska.
I'll let you go first, Jackson.
But I will say it's been a nice season for Nebraska. They have been doing very well. And UCLA, well, we know about them. The one good win they've had, well, is their second win against Rutgers. Like, good
and
God.
Rutgers is beat up all the heck.
Ugh. Maybe Rutgers needs the ghost of Tony Soprano to come back. Just be like, hey, can you give us a little magic like you did 2006, please? But That's not happening. Dave says, I want to see UCLA win just to keep Nebraska. I want to see Nebraska go another year without going to a bowl game.
What did Nebraska do to you, Dave?
He's Minnesota, man, remember?
But I get that, but is Nebraska Minnesota a big rivalry?
Well, unfortunately, they aren't playing each other this year, which I gotta say still feels kind of weird. Nebraska and Minnesota aren't playing each other, but
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like nothing really. It's just really hilarious.
I got you. Okay, Nebraska's that one team they always get close, and Clint Moses tells us how he feels about UCLA. Look away, kids. Look away. Oh gosh. Jackson, I should be confident in picking Nebraska here, but I'm not. You go first, good buddy. Go first.
I think Nebraska can get the job done against UCLA because for once they're going to win this one in a nice rebound of 31-20.
I'll go Nebraska 23-16. Oh gosh, we got to talk about this dung heap of a game on the ACC network,
Yes,
Jackson.
let's
You're
get
really
it
gonna
over
make us
with.
talk about it?
Let's get it over with. Let's get it over with. But I will
Oh
say though,
gosh.
if Matt Brown can't beat Florida State, then he never will.
Oh Lord.
Because like we've looked at North Carolina under Matt Brown, he never seems to get it done against Florida State. Like, and this from his first tenure at North Carolina and his current tenure alone.
Oh gosh.
I mean,
So bad they put the
these
8
teams,
put. Go ahead, good buddy. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, like both these teams have just disappointed all over the place, and I still cannot believe that this is the last conference game for Florida State this season. That's so weird.
That's right, because they play Notre Dame and then they got a bye and then they play Florida.
Before they play Florida, they play Charleston Southern.
Yes. And Clint Moses says so bad they put it on the ACC network instead of the CW. Yeah, even the CW didn't want this stench on their network.
Maybe they should put it on Disney Channel.
Here, Disney Channel. Nobody watches you anyway. Have the kids watch this game. It'll be fine. Just tell them this is what.
We don't want our 8-year-old watching this. It's too inappropriate. It's like, Daddy, what are they doing? It's like, they're doing Disney Plus. nice. Love
Disney
it.
Plus. I like it. See, Jackson, we could be the new commissioners and we'll make everything all better. Yep. Minnesota losing the North Carolina right now doesn't hurt as much if North Carolina can make it to a bowl game. Yeah. Come to think of it, Jackson, Dave brings up a great point. If North Carolina misses a bowl game and Minnesota gets to a bowl game, that could be the game that decides whether or not PJ Fleck gets a vote of confidence or not. Like, wow. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, yeah. That it is weird, though. It's like, as our buddy Jeffrey at Only Talk Sports says, perception changes. It's weird.
So, Jackson, I'm going to go North Carolina. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it tends to be weird where it's like 1 week it's PJ Fleck sucks. Then it's like no one's really talking about him. And, I will say for PJ Fleck, that's a good thing. And Matt Brown, no one really seems to be talking about this week. Well, at least on our ends. And I will say no news or no attention is good news, especially for Matt Brown in North Carolina. And I don't
I,
really think North Carolina's gonna win this one.
I feel like Jackson, even though they've had subpar quarterback play, I feel like too much Armarian Hampton. Florida State's just given up on the season. I'm going to go North Carolina 37-16.
I feel like Florida State will win this one for some reason. Yeah, they're gonna win 20-17 against North Carolina. North Carolina just can't seem to get it done against Florida State. I love it.
You could put Arizona versus UCF on Disney Plus too. Yeah, Jackson. Two very mid teams in the Big 12. Does UCF stun Arizona?
Well, I mean, Central Florida decided that Ted Roof is not good enough to be their DC. And it's like everybody's now finally realizing that Gus Malzahn's really overrated.
See, and that's the thing too, Jackson. What do you always tell me? When people start to talk bad about Gus Malzahn or they overlook him, he always strikes. And
Yep.
Jackson, the fact that you said that, the fact that everyone's putting that out there, I think UCF's going to steal a win here.
Well, UCF is the favorite in this game. Arizona, unfortunately, is going to win 28-27 against UCF.
I'm going to go UCF 27-28. 28-27 UCF.
Well, and I will tell you, though, there's not going to be a whole lot of happy campers in Orlando. Just like how there's not a
This
whole
is
lot of
true.
happy campers in Stillwater at the moment with Oklahoma State. 3-0 to 0-5. My God. As for Arizona State, they're looking very well. One win away from bowl eligibility.
Question is, Jackson, is Jeff Sims playing a quarterback?
No.
Okay. In that case, Jackson, I've lost all faith in Oklahoma State. Give me Arizona State and Cam Skippo on the road in Stillwater to win it 38-24 and to get a bowl eligibility in Kenny Dillingham's second season.
There you go. Old Kenny Dillingham. I think it's going to be Arizona State winning this one in a 42-28 victory.
And Mike Gundy's hot seat will heat up even more.
Then you got Texas A&M heading on over to Columbia, South Carolina for quite a battle. Do we see LSU getting to? Do we see that LSU victory going their heads? Do we see South Carolina pulling off an upset, or do we see A&M get it done on the road?
So here's the thing, Jackson. What have I told you about Texas A&M? What have I been telling you all year? What have I been preaching to the choir about with them?
They can get it done.
And I've always told you, Jackson, I believe in Mike Elko, and I believe he was a great hire. And I actually, full disclosure, I sent Jackson a direct message on Discord the night after they beat LSU of Mike Elko. And it was a video of Mike Elko saying that Texas A&M is a real place. We're here to play big games and win football games and to win meaningful football games. There will be no car salesman BS, as he likes to say. The 5 stars, if they want to come here, buckle down your chin straps. Like Jackson, Mike Elko is laying down the message that this Jimbo Fisher stink that's over the program is going to be no more as long as he has it. And he even made a promise in that video. He said, we will be playing for SEC titles. We'll be playing for playoff spots. We'll be playing for national titles. He promised that in front of the world. Now, that's an awful big promise. As we all know, Jackson, do I think they could be competing for playoff spots every year? Heck yeah. Do I think they could be competing for SEC? Absolutely. But national titles, let's slow down. Let's slow down, partner. Let's slow down. Let's wait 3 or 4 years. But what do you think, Jackson? Are you on the Texas A&M train with me or not yet?
I want to see how A&M can do the rest of the regular season. I mean, so far Mike Elko's doing fantastic, which I mean, I figured it wasn't going to be on like Mike Elko, but I was more worried about like that bad stench that A&M has had within the last several years. And our buddy Dave Brown, the Bourbon Hunters here, just in time, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the Louisville Cardinals in just a little bit. And Clint Moses
Oh,
said
Lord.
A&M winning is the worst. No more shows are roasting Aggies anymore. Jay Snow
He's
says,
putting respect back on
there you go.
in their name.
Yep.
Go ahead, good buddy.
And Jay Snow is saying, I don't think Elko will be at A&M for very long. He'll either win and move to a better job or lose because it's A&M. Dave Valinsky says, all about the 12th man at A&M. Clint Moses says, slow down on Natty. Let's start with stomping Big 12 and CFP.
I'm not saying that. I want to put that out there. It's Mike Elko spewing this stuff off, not me. I would say that. I would say Texas A&M can compete for the SEC. Like, as we see, Jackson, the SEC is not what it once was either. Like, this year. So, but for Mike Elko to say they're going to come here and play for Natties, I understand, Jackson, sometimes that's coach speak. You kind of have to say that. But he, like meant it. Like, he was like, he made it a point, like, that's going to happen. They're going to be playing in the national title game sometime soon if he can help it.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Duggar is 12th man. Yeah, he's a pretty cool dude, a very good friend of ours. Pretty cool dude.
But I will say, though, Jackson, you always tell me, Jackson, South Carolina, and they need a big-time win, right? Because Shane Beamer has always been able to pull off some magic. And the current spread for this game, as we said, is
-2 for Texas A&M.
So even Vegas is telling us, be careful with this game.
Mm-hmm.
So who's the starting quarterback, Jackson? Are they going back to Connor Wegman, or are they staying with their new quarterback?
Well, let's find out and see. Let's see. Well, as of 2 days ago, it says their QB for this week has not been announced yet.
Because Jackson, like, you always warned me about South Carolina, saying never take them lightly. Because they're always Shane Beamer is always good for one upset somewhere.
Yep.
What do you think, Jackson? Do you think the LSU win might get to their head? Let me ask you this too, Jackson.
I think Texas A&M wins by 1 point, 28 to 20.
Let me ask you this. Hold on, good buddy. I was going to ask you, is Shane Beamer's job on the line?
No.
Is this a gotta-have-it game for him?
Not yet. But if they miss a bowl game, he's in trouble.
You know what, Jackson? You're going Texas A&M by how many?
By 1 point.
So what's your score?
28-27, Texas A&M.
You know what, Jackson? I'm on the A&M bandwagon. If they start Wegman, it could be trouble. But I'll go A&M 24-13. I think they'll get it done on the road. It'll be a tight one. It'll be competitive, and then A&M will take off from there.
We got the Louisville Cardinals going up against the Clemson Tigers. I don't really see Louisville going to the ACC title game, even if they beat Clemson, which I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. Sorry to say that. But Austin, take it away.
So Clemson's favored by 10.5. So Vegas is even telling everybody that Clemson's far and away the better team. So here's the thing. I think we're a really good football team. I think we've proven it all season long. And we have an offense that we can put up points in a hurry. And Clemson's defense and Clemson's defense at times has been very, very, very good, and then there's the bad with them. And recently, 2 weeks ago on the Voice of College Football College show, Mark Rogers, has said, and I've preached this to this point, and I'm going to say it again. He's like, before we say Clemson is back, he said, I want to see Clemson play someone with a pulse other than Georgia. Because everyone kept saying, oh, Clemson's back. We wrote Dabble off too fast. And Mark's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. They're playing Virginia and they're playing all these bottom feeders. Wait till they play some of the better teams. Pitt, Louisville. Play some of these better teams, and then we'll kind of gauge where they're at. He wants to see him play someone with a pulse. And Jackson, we're someone with a pulse. We're not going to lie down for Clemson. We're going to give them everything we got. But like you said, this is in Death Valley at night. Clemson has one of the best home environments in all of college football. And here's the thing, too, Jackson. There's some stadiums that are fantastic, but there's just something about them at night. Next weekend, Jackson, you're going to be going to LSU next weekend, and they could have put that at noon, 3:30, but they were smart. They put that at 7:30, 6:30 your time, because LSU at night is a freaking awesome environment. LSU fans are just different at night.
Say that one more time, LSU.
LSU, yeah, we're back to that again.
Yep,
but Clemson's the same way. Clemson, they have a great home environment, but at night it's just different. There's some environments at night it's just different. Texas A&M at night, Notre Dame at night, Penn State at night, LSU. Heck, Alabama at night gets rocking. Especially even when they play even the crappier teams at night. They played Mississippi State a couple years ago, and that stadium was rocking at night. I mean, this is Mississippi State. This isn't Dan Mullen, Dak Prescott, Mississippi State either. Good grief. And Dave Lynch says Iowa at night. Agreed. Corvallis at night. The list goes on and on. I agree. Corvallis at night, they can get a little wild. Just ask USC. Jason O says Delaware at night. Does Delaware even have a football team?
Yes. They're going to be in the Conference USA in a year.
And Iowa at night, yeah. I could see Iowa big time, especially when they play the bigger opponents and Minnesota, of course, because they want to beat Minnesota just as much as you all do. But to this game, Jackson, what's your thoughts on this game? Not who you're picking, but just your thoughts. What are you thinking?
I've been looking at Clemson. This looks like it's going to be another huge victory for them. I've looked at the history of this game between Clemson and Louisville. Louisville has not gotten a single win in the series history.
No. Yeah, we haven't. I mean, Jackson, is there any way, Jackson, that we could slow down Clemson's offense with our defense?
I'm not seeing
Or do you
it.
think Clemson, you're going to learn about the 6-time national champions, Delaware Blue Hens? I apologize. I need to study up on Delaware more. Delaware, we're in Delaware. At night is much different than after dark. Yes, I think a lot of people get that confused because after dark is when crazy the ghost of DJU on. Listen, oh Lord, Jackson, the ghost of DJU's coming back for this game?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it'll give us an advantage.
And
But
Dabo
no,
was talking about
serious.
how Louisville's offense is the best offense they've seen since Georgia. That's huge.
He's not lying, Jackson. Can you tell me an offense that's played better than like on their schedule besides Georgia? Is there an offense that they'll play better than ours?
I mean, South Carolina will give Clemson a game, but we can't really say that South Carolina's offense is going to give them a game for sure.
And I know a lot of people say, Jackson, you're Pitt. I'll be honest with you, Jackson. I think they're more of a defensive team. I think Clint Moses is Clemsoning is making a comeback. Oh Lord.
Clemsoning Pitt edition, November 16th, where dreams go to die.
Jackson, I think this will be a great test. We'll see where Clemson's at. Am I confident we're going to win this game? Heck to the no. Like, Jackson, I'm not going to bet anything on this game. Like, I'm not going to be stupid and be like, oh, y'all, I'll do this if Clemson wins. No. But if we win, Jackson, I may cry a little. Just to give you a heads up, I may cry a little because it'll make me proud. But in all seriousness, I'll let you pick first, Jackson.
I think Clemson is going to win 38 to 17.
Bet the barn. I don't got a barn. How am I going to bet the barn that I don't
Going
have?
to the barn,
Jackson,
barn, Minerva. It's going to be a bad one this time. An awful bad one. Stole that line from a 30-minute Gunsmoke episode.
I apologize, Jackson. What was your score prediction? Who'd you have winning? He said bet the barn. I lost it.
I said Clemson would win 38 to 17. I say it so defeated, of course.
I'm with you, Jackson. I'm going Clemson too. I think Cade will have a big day on the ground. I'll go Clemson 31 to 16. And then Dave Walensky says, who hates Iowa? We hate Iowa and F the Badgers. Oh, okay. Yeah. He made no bones about it. So, Dave, I'm saying, so you're telling us you don't want either of these teams to win. Is that what you're telling us?
I guess so, but I guess that's what he's telling us. But Clint Moses says Gunsmoke beat him. Yeah, it was an episode the other day where it was like some dude that was he was like a butthole to his wife, but like his wife like hired like a gunfighter, not like a gunfighter, but she hired like a man to like do something to her husband, and then like he's like going to Marshall Dillon like, oh well, I don't have any enemies, I'm a proud man, and then Matt Dillon's like, why don't you start telling me the truth? you got all these enemies. You're going after all these girls in the saloon, and you're acting like a butthole to your wife. I gotta tell you, it's always nice night when you're chilling out. Before you go to bed, it's always nice to watch Gunsmoke, where you can see Matt Dillon just giving the backhand slap to the bad guys, or better yet, just telling the folks a thing or two when they're wrong. So that's always a nice way to get it going.
Jackson,
But we will see somebody that can give a Matt Dillon backhand slap on NBC. That's going to be some defenses in Madison, Wisconsin, and Iowa City, Iowa, between the Hawkeyes of Iowa and the Badgers of Wisconsin. That's a wild rivalry, good
Jackson,
buddy.
Jackson, is it just me? But where are all these elite games that NBC? Like Jackson, last year we were getting a lot of these great games. Now they're just like giving like the hand-me-downs of what CBS and Fox don't want.
Well, I mean, Ohio State, Oregon was a good one.
Oh no, not that, Jackson. I'm not complaining about that. But like Wisconsin, Penn State, I guess that was all right. But like this game here, good buddy. I mean, I get you got to have an NBC game, but why not give Indiana a little love? Put them back on there. Like, no offense to Iowa, Wisconsin, but they all like, who wants to see this game at night when you're trying
I
to chill
do.
out? Oh, well, Jackson, no offense, good buddy, but you're nuts anyway, so
Well, I
you
mean,
don't count.
I am a certified college football sicko. So there you go.
That is true. You. I thought NBC only showed Notre Dame. No, so I believe in 2023, which was last year, was when they
Mhm.
started that, right, Jackson? The Big
Yes,
Ten
they have been.
showcase.
It's been Notre Dame home games on NBC and Big Ten games.
Yeah, for the longest time, Dave Brown, Bourbon Hunter, it was just Notre Dame's home. But then
Yep.
when the media rights all came up, the Big Ten swooped in and was like, because NBC wanted more sports other than Notre Dame and Sunday night football. They
Yep.
were like, how about the Big Ten? Like, we want a big brand. We don't want the ACC or Big 12, which was so disrespectful. Make me
Yep.
slap somebody in NBC. Jackson, come over to your house and we'll slap them together.
Oh man. But NBC, I don't know. I mean, this game looks all right. I mean, it looks pretty good.
And Dave Valinsky, he would disagree with us, Jackson. He said the only thing I want to see is every time I watch Wisconsin Iowa play is a giant meteorite that hit the stadium. Oh boy.
Ooh,
No
meteors
love
are kind
lost
of
from
scary, man. It's like, but to each their own.
but to this game though, Wisconsin Jackson, they came up that heartbreaking loss last week.
Yeah.
Braden Locke threw that big interception, that pick six that really turned the tide. And the thing is, Jackson, what happened to Iowa's defense? Like, it deteriorated all of a sudden.
They
Now
got
that they
a
have an offense, they're like, go ahead.
they got a failure to communicate.
And let me ask you this, Jackson. Wisconsin. Do you think, Jackson, that if Tyler Van Dyke comes back next year, do you think the starting job will be his, or do you think Braden Locke has done enough to keep the job?
We'll wait and see. But I am interested to see more of Tyree Walker, the Wisconsin Badger Ranger.
This game's interesting because it's in Iowa City. And it's like, and Jackson, speaking of coaches, but a lot of people think Kurt Ferentz should hang it up after this year. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's good. It's good time to be having that conversation. I mean, it's do we wait another year?
Like, what?
I don't know. I mean, if I'm Iowa, I would really think about where I want the future to be at in Iowa City because Nebraska and Wisconsin are going to catch up eventually.
Mhm. Like, I know we give Mac Brown and some of these other guys, Mike Gundy and Kyle Whittingham, maybe it's time for them to hang it up. Is it Kurt Ferentz's time in Iowa? I'll let you pick first, Jackson.
I think Iowa wins a tight one, 24-21 against Wisconsin.
I'll go Iowa as well, 13-10.
Yep.
Ooh, USC at Washington on. Speaking of coaching jobs, Jax,
Ooh.
Lincoln Riley, his seat is sizzling. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think USC, we don't really know what's going to happen this season, but I mean, it's their final opportunity to win a road game again this season. I mean, because like they have not won a road game at all this season. I mean, they lost, of course, at Michigan, they lost at Maryland, at Minnesota. The only home game they lost was at Penn State, of course. But this has not been a good year for the USC Trojans. This is bad.
Yeah. And Jackson, this is one of them too, where both these teams, Washington, they're in a rebuilding year under Jed Fish. And USC Jackson, they've just deteriorated after beating LSU. Like, after they beat LSU Jackson, we thought they could be a contender in the Big Ten. What the heck happened? No offense, but they lost to Minnesota at home. What the heck?
On the road.
I thought that was a home game. My bad. But still, you're USC. You shouldn't be losing to Minnesota. No offense to Dave or any of our Gophers out there. I love a good Gopher, especially the one that's that grocery store, Buc-ee's. Yeah, that Gopher. I love that Gopher. But like, what the heck, Jackson? Is that the state of USC football, losing to Minnesota?
It's bad.
Like, I can give Washington a pass. Like, I can give them a pass because they got a new head coach and they're replacing a lot of talent from their championship team, the team that went to the title game. I can understand that, but what is USC's excuse, Jackson? Let me know.
Ugh.
Go ahead before I get angry.
It's not good. It's terrible. I mean, on the bright side, they did snap their 3-game losing streak against Rutgers last week, but they did allow 400 yards from their offense. So I don't see how they
Yeah.
can beat Washington's passing attack.
Yeah, and it's at Husky Stadium, and it's going to be at night. Yikes. Oh, boy.
Mhm.
Jackson, let me ask you this before we make our pick. Is Lincoln Riley coaching on borrowed time at USC?
I don't think he is, but he is going to be under a lot of pressure.
I'm with you, Jackson. Until USC shows me a little something against a comparable team, I'm going to take Washington at home. I'll go Huskies 30, USC 20.
I think it's gonna be Washington 38, USC 35.
Oh, you got a shootout.
Yep. But this next game won't be. It'll be Tennessee and smacking Kentucky. God.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jackson. Tennessee, all the way. We can move on.
Tennessee's gonna win
Let's
this
talk,
one.
Jackson. Let's talk about a game down there at the bottom that actually matters.
Oh yeah. Because Tennessee's gonna beat Kentucky 42-24.
I'll go 51-17.
There you go. Yeah, you're right. This is gonna be a game that matters. Pittsburgh SMU. That's gonna be a wild one. Because this is a battle for the ACC crown. And who's going to have a say against Clemson or Miami? Unfortunately for SMU, they don't have Clemson or Miami on their schedule. So they're going to
Here's the
need
thing,
to
Jackson.
hope for some kind of
Oh, go
miracle.
ahead.
And I know, like,
Well, see,
Mark.
here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, because I
Go ahead,
remember, like,
buddy.
Mark was talking about a possible scenario where we could see Clemson, SMU, and Miami all unbeaten in conference play, and that's going to be quite a cluster right there.
See, here's the thing, too, Jackson. Jackson, there could be a path. As crazy as it sounds, but you don't want to rule it out yet, Jackson. But think about this. I looked at this. I was watching something the other day, and Jackson, do you know there's still a slight chance there's a path for Louisville to get to the title game again if we beat Clemson? I know they said we need SMU to lose, Pitt to lose, and then we need to beat Pitt too. And then we just need Clemson to lose one more time. And we would own the tiebreaker over them, own the tiebreaker over Pitt. And like there was so many scenarios. Like it's crazy, Jackson. It's kind of like your all scenario in the SEC. It's like a 1 in a million scenario. I don't think it's gonna happen.
But what's something I
But
always
they said
say?
there's like, well, this applies to both of us, but I'm gonna say it. You never put yourself in a position where you need another team to win or you need them to lose.
There you
And
go.
unfortunately, Jackson, we stuck ourselves in this position. Both of us.
Yep. Of course.
Clint Moses is not very high on the Big 12, I see.
Yeah.
But as for this game, who's favored, Jackson? Who's favored?
Well, let's look, shall we? SMU is favored by 7.5.
Oh, wow,
And
that's a big okay.
well, we've seen Pitt get it done on the road. I mean, they can get it done. I think they'll be all right.
That's a big spread. 7.5? Like
Although,
SMU hasn't been tearing up the road.
oh yeah, and we did see Eli Holstein from Pitt is cleared to play against SMU next week. And we see that SMU's QB Kevin Jennings, took a big hit to the knee last week against Duke. He was listed as questionable, but he does need to be cleared for contact. So he's going to have to wait just a little bit. We don't know as of right now, but we will wait and see what happens.
I will say this, Jackson. If this was in Pitt, I would pick Pitt. And I still might, but it being in Dallas, Rhett Lashley, big time game, night atmosphere, is SMU legit? You know what, Jackson? I think Pitt's going to come up short in this game. I'm going to go SMU to pull off a big win and make a landmark splash in the ACC. Give me SMU 41-27. SMU's offense is explosive. I think they're going to have a field day at home.
Not so fast, my friend. I'm going with Pittsburgh 35-31.
Oh, okay.
Dreams go
We're
to die,
split.
Dallas edition.
We'll see. We'll see. Now, Jackson, this isn't the Cowboys, so there is that.
And finally, we have the rivalry between the TCU Horned Frogs and the Baylor Bears at McLean Stadium on ESPN2. I gotta say, Dave Aranda, I think he can pull it off.
Give me TCU, Jackson. I'm bought into them. That they won back-to-back games. Give me TCU to win a shootout. 52-46 Horned Frogs.
Baylor's gonna win 31-28 against TCU.
So Jackson, you know what's sad? There's no Big 12 after dark. There's no nothing. So sad. Well, I guess I'll just have to come do final whistle with
after
you.
TCU Baylor to give you the final whistle. Come on in.
Yes. But
we're up late, of course. We just are. We're always gonna be up late for final whistle for you guys. Don't worry, the whistle's coming.
Yes, we are. But you know something, Jackson? All that's great stuff. But I gotta say this. It gets a little. I get tired of watching the same old stuff. Watching ESPN all the time and hear Paul Feinbaum talk about Alabama and how they're going to win it all, yada yada yada. Jackson, I would really love to hear a refreshing voice for once. And you know something, Jackson? I recently discovered this channel and there's 3 people on there. I like them. I do. They have potential. Especially that Jackson Johnson guy. I really like him. I think I'd get along with him if I ever met him. Maybe one day. Maybe I'll meet him at his autograph session one day.
It could happen.
It could happen. You never know. And that Johnny Burks guy, he's like a whippersnapper. And that Jeffrey kid, he might be a president one day. We never know. Hopefully I get to meet him one day because it'd be nice. But if you want to hear someone other than Paul Feinbaum, ESPN, and College Game Day talk about Alabama, there's only one place for you to do that, and that's Alabama, the voice of college football, where Jackson, Jeffrey, and Johnny are cooking it up. I hope one day I could get their autograph. But go ahead, sir.
Oh, it
Tell
could
people
happen.
where they can find you.
Well, they can find me on Alabama, the Voice College Football, of course, where I host a Crimson Tide Live every Monday afternoon at 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, including the 10th edition of Crimson Tide Live, where Johnny Burtz and I talked about the playoff scenarios and the possible scenario where we can reach an SEC title game, and that can be a wild ride. And of course, on Halloween night, instead of waiting it out for the Great Pumpkin, Jeffrey at Only Talk Sports and I will take your calls on Alabama with the Voice College Football, where we will be waiting it out at 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, taking the calls, discussing everything involving Alabama football. We don't care that you're an Alabama fan, Auburn fan, Tennessee fan. We don't care who you pull for. We want to hear your point of view on the Alabama Crimson Tide. And let me tell you
even
something.
If you pull from Merrimack.
Yep.
So even if you're a Merrimack fan, you're welcome in?
Yep.
I got you. Okay.
Yep.
I'll call my Mary Mac friends. They can come call. But you know something? As great as that is, Jackson, I'm assuming that's your name. And as great as that is, Jackson, where can the people find you, good buddy? Because you do all this great promoting for Mark Rogers and the channel, and you're becoming famous. But Jackson, someday you're gonna want to talk to Donald Trump, and heck, you might even want to talk to Taylor Swift one day, or you might want to talk to the great Dave Valinsky out there in the audience, the famous Minnesota man. Like, where can people find that content
Well, they can
if they
find
want
me
to go
on
check it out?
Jackson Johnson 979 on YouTube. And Dave, I saw where you just subscribed to the channel. Dave Brown, thank you so much for the subscription. I appreciate it. And the channel is now 118 subs from the magic number 500. And I'm going to need all the help I can get to getting my channel, Jackson Johnson 979, to 500 subs. Love to get to 1,000. And we're gonna get there. Well, I'll need all the help I can get, and we'll get done. And you can also find my latest episode of the Jacksonian with Patrick Murphy, the Ohio State beat writer for Buttnuts 247 at 247 Sports, where we discussed quite a lot. Yes, you were. I appreciate it, man. Yes, you were. I saw where it said you subbed, and I appreciate it, man. I thank you. And as of tonight, but and we talked a lot. Yeah, Patrick Murphy and I talked a lot about the Buckeyes and the takeaways against Nebraska. We talked about the Arvell Reese targeting call and how it got removed by the Big Ten, how they were like, you know what, we're changing our minds. And we talked a little bit about Ohio State, Penn State. We talked a little bit about Ryan Day. And let's just tell you right now, it's an episode you want to tell your friends, your family, and the cashiers at Publix, Walmart, and Kroger about. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's a wild one, and it's an awesome one. And of course, you can find me on X at JacksonVOCFB, and on Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543908. Where not only on X do I put my Jacksonian episodes on there and put on Crimson Tide Live on there, but I also put out updates involving on what I'm doing with Crimson Tide Live and the Jacksonian, Alabama with the Voice of College Football. You name it. I am just staying busy as much as possible. I'm getting things all worked out, and I'm getting them all figured out. And you can tune in for more updates on the final whistle and Pitt's analysis and much, much more. Austin, what you got going on in your adventures? You got a new call-in show for the Dallas Cowboys. Tell the good people about it.
So obviously, I've upgraded. So obviously, me and Jackson do our Wednesdays and Saturdays things, but now I've got Cowboys Tuesdays. Every Tuesday night, I will be doing a Cowboys call-in show, doing game recaps, game previews, and I want to talk to you, the people. Like, I want to hear your all's opinion. I could sit here and yickety yak yak all night. I really could, but you know, this is a show for you all as well. So if y'all disagree with my opinion, come on in. As you can see, I'm sporting the Cowboys tonight. Always make sure you're in gear. And it's a good wild ride. You know, it's a show if you like talking Dallas Cowboys or NFL, I'll talk to anybody. I'm like Jackson and Jeffrey. I'll talk to anybody. If you're Panthers, Titans, Lions, Bears, Eagles, Colts, it don't really matter. You come in
Commanders
and
and
talk
Giants.
Cowboys with me? Yes. I'll talk to my rivals. I'll even talk Jackson. I'll even go as far as I'll talk to the Eagles fans. But that's my new college show, Cowboys Tuesday. where the first 15 minutes I'll give you kind of a game recap, tell you what I thought of it, and what we need to do going better. And then, of course, you can find it right here on Sports Talk with Austin 2002. And then you can find it, the updates on Twitter at Austin W192639 and all that great stuff. I'll be back Saturday with Jackson, of course. And, of course, we'll be here Wednesday. And we'll even next week is going to be very, very special because Wednesday night, not only will we be making our picks, but we will be reacting to the first CFP ranking. So if you thought our picks were off the hook, wait till we react to the rankings. Like when we find out these rankings, oh boy, it's either going to upset us, get us excited. We're going to have all the emotions, but we're going to talk about that too, and it's going to be a fun ride. But Jackson, there's only one thing left for the people to do, and that's it. If they love this show, like, comment, and subscribe to both of us. If you're not already, what are you doing?
Click on the
Like, don't make me
notification
come.
bell so you do not miss another video whatsoever.
Like, what are you doing if you haven't done that yet? Number one, I mean, you got your head is stuck in the freezer. I understand. It's hot in some places, but don't stick your head in the freezer. Like, get it out. Hit that subscribe button. Like, do us a big favor. It shows us that we're doing a good job for you guys and that we can. What if I hate the cow? Oh, well, then you might not want to listen, but that's okay. You can even come in and talk about them. Just as long. If the Cowboys lose, you can come in and brag to me all you want. I'm like Jackson. I'll take it on the chin. Like, I'm sure there's people that hate Alabama that would love to come talk smack to Jackson. As long as you're respectful about it, come on in. Like, welcome all callers, like I said.
Yep.
But, Jackson, it's been one heck of a night, good buddy, but it's time for us to retire. Until Saturday, and then we're back to work again. But, thank you all for being here. We appreciate you as always for hanging in there with us, and we'll see you all Saturday. Go Cards.
Roll Tide.